Prime Minister told the Parliament that the letter issued by the chairman of the Tourism Development Authority does not represent the view of the government. Paying bus fares by bank cards is effective from the 30th of November. The official reserves of the country surpass $6 billion. 5 billion rupees additional grant for fertilizers subsidy. Measures have been taken to prevent spread of African swine fever in the island. A study reveals that 10% of the population suffers mental ailments. $52 million loan is granted for the promotion of power transmission network and renewable energy. Pavitra Fernando has been elected as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Rugby Association. A bomb blast in Myanmar kills 24 and injures 47 others.
And with that, we move on to your local stories tonight. And in your top story, Prime Minister Dr. Hari Amarasuriya says that the letter issued by the chairman of the Tourism Development Authority does not indicate the government's opinion. She made this comment in a response to a question raised by a parliamentarian, Kavinda Jayawarthana, in the House today. Opposition MPs raised concerns in Parliament over possible government plans to alter the structure or powers of the National Police Commission. Parliamentarian Gantha Karunatilaka questioned whether the government had any plan to remove the Police Commission from its status. Joining the discussion, opposition parliamentarian Dayasri Jayasekara alleged that 32 senior police officers had recently been transferred without proper procedure. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasi said that the opposition strongly objected to any move to hand over the powers of the Police Commission to the Inspector General of Police. Responding on behalf of the government, Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Lalinda Jayatissa said the transfers had been made by the Police Commission and not by the IGP, and that there was no basis for the allegations. He also said that the opposition was attempting to create unnecessary fear regarding the matter. The minister further explained that if any police officer believed any injustice had occurred, there were proper appeal procedures through the commission and other legal mechanisms. He said that the commission was acting within its powers and that no changes had been made in order to transfer its authority to the police chief. Prime Minister Dr. Hari Amarasuriya said that the government does not provide any special privileges or promotions to any particular group, responding to a question raised in Parliament today by opposition parliamentarian.
විදේශ සමලිංගික ප්‍රජාව LGBTQ ප්‍රවර්ධනය මෙරට තුළ සිදු කිරීම ශ්‍රී ලංකා සංචාරක ප්‍රවර්ධන අධිකාරිය.
Responding to a question raised in Parliament today by opposition parliamentarian Kavinda Jayawarthana regarding the LGBTQ+ community, the Prime Minister stated that no group in society is given special treatment and that sensitive social issues should not be used for political advantage. She said that the government's position on the matter is clear and that all citizens should be treated equally as guaranteed by the Constitution. Commenting on a question related to prison inmates, Dr. Amarasuriya said that the Minister of Justice and the relevant ministry are looking into the required reforms in prisons. She said that measures are being taken to ensure the safety and welfare of children under 5 years of age and stressed that the court procedures may need to be revised to prevent children from being kept in such facilities. Speaking on education reforms, the Prime Minister noted that teacher training colleges had not been updated for some time and emphasised the need to align their curricula with current and proposed education reforms. She said that the government's objective is to ensure that all teachers become graduates and that teacher training colleges will be upgraded to degree awarding institutions. Dr. Amarasuriya added that the Kuliyapiti Teacher Training College is already awarding degrees and the government intends to raise the remaining 19 colleges into the same level.
Now, in the meantime, Minister Bimal Ratnayake mentioned in the Parliament today that bus fares can be paid by bank cards from the 30th of November. He made this observation joining the adjournment debate in Parliament today. Minister Bimal Ratnayake said that the government has announced plans to introduce a digital card payment system for bus services across Sri Lanka by the end of November. The minister said the move aims to address long-standing issues in the public transport sector, including irregular ticketing and revenue losses. He said the misuse and lack of proper enforcement of the bus ticketing system had become one of the main obstacles of sustaining the industry. The minister stated that under the new system, passengers will be able to pay bus fares using any bank card currently in use in the country. He added that the Digital Ministry has assured that required facilities will be available by November the 30th. Ratnayaka further said that the government expects the digital payment and ticketing process to reduce fraud, ensure accurate fare collection and minimize inconveniences to passengers. He also said that the Prime Minister had proposed additional measures to regulate school vans and improve overall road safety.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka says that the official reserves of the country has increased up to $6.243 billion by the end of September this year. According to the latest data of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, when compared to the $6.178 billion recorded in August, there's an increase of 1.1% in official reserves. Accordingly, the official reserves of the country has gone up to $6.243 billion by the end of September 2025.
The housing project, constructed jointly by Sri Lanka and Indian governments with the objective of enhancing the living standard of Malayan community in Sri Lanka, will be vested with that community on the 12th of this month. Title deeds for the relevant families will also be distributed under the patronage of President Anura Kumara Dissanayake at the Bandarwala public grounds. Malayan community in the island is about 1 million of the entire population. About 67% of them are still living in estate line rooms. These people undergo immense hardships with less facilities, facing natural disasters such as landslides. Although some houses were constructed for them in the past, there was no proper system to distribute these houses to them. The government has implemented a number of projects to provide housing and infrastructure facilities for this community living in estate areas at present. One of the leading projects is the housing scheme that has been implemented under the financial assistance of the Indian government. Accordingly, 2,000 beneficiary families are to be provided with housing facilities on the 12th of this month.
The Indian housing project figures among the largest development initiatives undertaken by the Government of India overseas. It encompasses an overall commitment on our part to build 60,000 houses for Sri Lankan beneficiaries, with grant assistance worth around INR 1,835 crores. 46,000 houses were constructed and renovated in the northern and eastern provinces under the first two phases of the project. Phase 3, implementing 4,000 houses for the plantation regions, is almost complete. Phase 4, announced by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi during his visit to Sri Lanka in 2017, envisages construction of another 10,000 houses for the plantation community. Of these, 1,300 houses under Stage 1 are in various stages of completion. I am pleased that Stage 2 will now be launched on 12th October in Badulla under the patronage of His Excellency President Anura Kumara Dissanayake. The Government and the High Commission of India appreciates the enthusiasm and support of the Ministry of Plantation and Community Infrastructure for the commencement of the Stage 2. The esteemed Ministry has taken the lead in the initial identification of potential beneficiaries consistent with the procedures and criteria established for the project. These 40,000 houses being constructed as part of phases 3 and 4 of Indian Housing Project also represents India's firm commitment to working with the government of Sri Lanka for uplifting and empowering the Indian origin Tamil community in Sri Lanka. As you all are aware, we have undertaken various initiatives in addition to the housing project to promote education, healthcare, and socio-economic development in the plantation regions.
Now, the houses constructed at the Meregal area in Paduka Divisional Secretariat Division with the state funds under the House for All national program were vested with the low-income families of the area this morning. Parliamentarian Chandana Suryarachi graced this occasion as the chief guest.
The Minister of Health and Mass Media, Dr. Nalindra Jayatissa, says that court action has to be taken if any irregularities have occurred regarding the post of the Director General of the Commission to investigate bribery or corruption. The Minister expressed these views at a media briefing held today to announce cabinet decisions at the Department of Government Information.
Now, an extraordinary gazette notification has been issued with the objective of preventing the spread of African swine fever in Sri Lanka. This has been considered as a contagious disease mentioned in the first schedule of Animal Disease Act No. 59 of 1992. This gazette notification has been issued since the African swine fever disease is a highly contagious virus and there is a possibility of spreading it further. The concerned notification has been issued by the Director General of Animal Products and Health on the 3rd of this month. According to the Director General of Animal Products and Health, Chandraka Hemali Aberatna, African swine fever or ASF disease spreaded in various divisional secretariat divisions of the island. Pigs have been named as disease-prone animals. It has also been mentioned in the gazette notification that transportation, removal, carrying or driving away the meat of those animals and related products defiled by disease-causing agents within the danger areas or outside it without the permission of the veterinary surgeon in charge of the division as per number 54 clause of the Animal Disease Act. As per the above-mentioned clause, without a permit for transportation, killing of pigs for meat has also been banned. Abducting of a dead body of an animal or its body parts suspected to be died due to the disease or infected has also been banned. It has also been banned to dump the dead bodies at a place related to water or enabling other animals to carry it to other places without guidelines given by the Department of Animal Products and Health. Only farm registered at the breeding division of the Department of Animal Products and Health will be implemented to breed, sell, kill and process meat animals in the commercial farms of non-affected breeding centres. A confirmation by a competent authority has to be conducted that the above animals are not infected with the disease during killing, breeding and selling of them. The gazette notification further states that a copy of animal health certificates provided for purchasing, killing and transport of these animals has to be kept in every animal farm and slaughterhouse. An approval has to be taken before entering the animals into the infected farm and restarting the farm again from the veterinary surgeon in charge of the concerned division.
The Minister of Health and Mass Media, Dr. Nalin Jatisa, says that court action has to be taken if any irregularities have occurred regarding the post of the Director General of the Commission to investigate bribery or corruption. The Minister expressed these views at a media briefing held today to announce cabinet decisions at the Department of Government Information. Minister Dr. Nalin Jatisa said that if there are allegations of irregularities or constitutional violations in the appointment made through the Parliamentary Selection Committee, the proper course of action would be to challenge the decision before the Supreme Court. He stated that the recently appointed Director General of the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption has come under criticism from certain political groups, including former Minister Gamman Pillar. Dr. Jatisa noted that such criticism appeared to be politically motivated as it arose only after the Commission began concluding investigations and finding cases in court. He said the Director General is a former magistrate and a High Court judge with years of judicial experience and that any complaints regarding his conduct should be submitted to the Judicial Service Committee, the Commission or the appropriate authorities rather than being raised through media discussions. The Minister added that those engaged in corruption often attempt to discredit officials responsible for anti-corruption investigations and that there was no justification for such politically driven attacks. The Minister stated that direct foreign investments to the tune of $787 million has been received by the country during this year. Dr. Jatisa also reported that from January to September 30th, 2022, a total of 104 investment projects had been approved, including 55 new projects, 46 expansions and 14 fully completed projects. He said that the total estimated investment value of these projects amounted to $1,121 million. In addition, he noted that the direct foreign investment inflows from newly signed and ongoing projects for 2025 are valued at $787 million compared to $347 million recorded during the same period last year. The Minister also detailed about the proposal regarding Sri Lanka at the United Nations Human Rights Session. Commenting on the recent session of the United Nations Human Rights Council, the Minister said that the Minister of Foreign Affairs had clearly presented the government's position on behalf of Sri Lanka. He stated that several countries had expressed views in support of Sri Lanka's approach, noting that the government continues to address issues domestically through its independent judicial system. The minister added that the government has conveyed to the international community that Sri Lanka's judiciary remains independent and capable of ensuring justice within the framework of national law, describing this as a strong message from the country to the world. Police fired at a vehicle which defied the order to stop at Bellamada on the Kataragama-Matara main road. The police officials on duty at a road barrier at Bellamada have signalled the vehicle to be stopped. According to reports, the police fired at the vehicle since it defied the order to stop. The vehicle has crashed onto a roadside wall and also against road signboards. The inmates of the vehicle had tried to flee, but turning the vehicle towards Janarajababata Madavatta, and one of them have been taken into custody. The Crime Investigation Bureau of Ratnapura Division has taken a suspect into custody, along with 3 grams of ice, narcotics and a T-56 firearm with 20 live cartridges yesterday. He has been taken into custody during a search operation conducted at Pathakada in the Palmadula Police Division. The suspect is a 20-year-old resident of Pathakada, Palmadula. Another person has also been taken into custody with 5 grams and 350 milligrams of heroin at Lellupittiya in Ratnapura. According to our correspondent, another suspect along with 10 grams of heroin in his possession has been taken into custody in the same area. 3 suspects and a female suspect who abetted in the assassination of a male and female inside a house at Ranna in the Hungama Police Division have been taken into custody, and they are residents of Ranna, aged 27 and 33 years. The female suspect, aged 35 years, is also a resident of the same area. Police has been taken into custody a locally made firearm and cartridges along with 2 knives. The Sri Lanka Navy has been successful in taking into custody a suspect who tried to illegally smuggle a stock of 57,000 drug tablets, cosmetics and a stock of spices. It has been reported that they were being transported on a dinghy boat.
Now, the Colombo Magistrates Court ordered that the order regarding the anticipatory bail appeal of former Minister Manusha Nanayakkara will be announced on the 14th of this month, when the petition filed by him was taken up in the presence of the Colombo Chief Magistrate Asanka S. Bodaragama today. Manusha Nanayakkara had requested by petition to provide anticipatory bail before him being taken into custody regarding an investigation conducted by the Commission to investigate bribery or corruption pertaining to irregularity occurred during the migration of employees for agricultural jobs in Israel during the previous government. The Supreme Court has granted permission to take up for hearing the fundamental rights petition filed by the then Director of Criminal Investigations Department, Shani Abbesekara, Police Inspector of the same department, Sudat Mendis and HDM Premathilaka. This permission has been granted regarding the request made by them that their fundamental human rights have been violated through taking into custody and remanding of them by the Colombo Crime Division without any justifiable reason during the tenure of former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Accordingly, the bench of judges ordered the parties of the case to file objections regarding these petitions before the 12th of January and counter-protests before the 12th of February next year. Later, it has been ordered to take up the petition for hearing on the 14th of May next year. Sepali Saman Kumari, a former acting Director General of the Office for Reparation, has been released on bail today by the Colombo Magistrates Court. She was taken into custody by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption under allegations of conspiring, aiding and abetting to pay compensation to former Minister Sashindra Rajapaksa regarding a building constructed on land belonging to the Mahavali Authority, which was destroyed by the people of Aragale. Former parliamentarian and former chairman of Mihin Lanka, Sajin Gunawardena, visited the Criminal Investigations Department today to provide a statement regarding the Easter Sunday terrorist attacks. He left the CID after being interrogated for nearly 3 hours. The Valasmula Magistrates Court ordered today to further remand Piyal Manamperi until the 22nd of October. He has been alleged regarding the recovery of narcotics from Middenia.
Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardena says that about 10% of the population in Sri Lanka is suffering from numerous mental illnesses. At a function held at the Foundation Institute in Colombo, he stated that nearly 37,000 persons have obtained treatments from the mental health clinics island-wide in 2024. This event has been organised in line with International Mental Health Day, which falls on 10th October. It was held under the patronage of Deputy Minister Dr. Hansaka Wijayamuni and Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardana. Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardana said that around 10% of Sri Lankan population is affected by mental health conditions, with nearly 2% suffering from severe psychiatric disorders. He said that in 2024, over 30,000 patients had received treatment at mental health units nationwide. Dr. Gunawardana noted that some of these cases were linked to incidents of self-harm and stressed the importance of raising public awareness about mental health. The theme of this year's Mental Health Day is the mental health service for all at any time in disastrous and emergency situations. Addressing the gathering, the Deputy Minister of Health and Mass Media said that the priority should be given to treatments for mental health. Deputy Minister Dr. Hansaka Wijayamuni said that during disaster situations, immediate first aid is often provided for physical injuries, but psychological first aid is neglected. He said that mental health support should be considered an essential part of emergency response, followed by clinical assessment and treatment as necessary. Country representatives of the World Health Organization, consultant doctors, officials of the Health Ministry and many others were present at this occasion.
Now, subject to the recommendation of the Food Policy and Security Committee, the Cabinet of Ministers have granted approval to obtain additional provisions of 5 billion rupees to pay off the financial subsidiary for fertilizer for Maha season of 2025-2026. 33,500 million rupees has been allocated to provide the financial subsidiaries for fertilizer for the year 2025, and it has been estimated that an additional allocation of approximately 5 billion rupees for providing financial subsidiary will be required when considering the total extent of lands for paddy and other field crops, which has been estimated to be cultivated during the Maha season of 2025-2026. These consolidated proposals were furnished by the Ministers of Agriculture, Livestock, Lands and Irrigation, as well as Trade, Commerce, Food Security and Cooperative Development. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal presented by the Minister of Plantation and Community Infrastructure to implement the program for providing new houses to the plantation community whose residencies were destroyed by natural disasters until the 31st of December 2027 and to obtain the provisions within the medium-term budget framework. It is expected to construct 1,400 new housing units during that period and to settle beneficiary families. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal presented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism to sign a Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism in Sri Lanka and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Republic of Malta to promote and strengthen the bilateral relationship in the political, economic, trade, investment, consular and cultural sectors, as well as to share ideas on regional and international matters that are of mutual interest to both countries. The Cabinet has further approved the proposal presented by the Minister of Public Administration, Provincial Councils and Local Government to implement the Western Province Municipal Solid Waste Management Master Plan. A project for the preparation of the Western Province Municipal Solid Waste Management Master Plan has been implemented through the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the Japan International Cooperation Agency and Sri Lanka, taking into consideration the National Waste Management Policy approved by the Cabinet of Ministers on the 1st October 2019. Based on the recommendations made after evaluating the relevant bids by the Cabinet-appointed Special Standing Procurement Committee, the Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to the resolution furnished by Minister of Power to award the procurement of 4 shipments of bids crude oil of Merban category between the period of 4 months from the 1st of January 2026 to 30th April 2026 to MSBB Energy Asia Private Limited of Singapore. The Cabinet has also approved the appointment of temporary officers and employees to ensure the efficient functioning of the Commission on Bribery or Corruption allegations until the permanent staff is appointed. The proposal in this regard was submitted by the Cabinet. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal presented by the President to institutionalize results-based management in the public sector and to take necessary steps to achieve the expected targets, having combined the ministerial results frameworks for the annual action plan and strategic steps of the budget of each ministry.
We now take a look at several development-based news items. The Hingaragoda Kibulavala Road renovated under the government's Rural Road Reconstruction Project was vested with the public yesterday. Under the patronage of Deputy Minister T.B. Sarath, villagers of the area faced immense difficulties due to the dilapidated condition of the road for a long time. The Dunukakile that connects Koskanuela and the Kapiti villages in Valimada is being developed these days by laying concrete. Chairman of the Valimada Pradesh Sabha Ajit Kumar Dissanayake yesterday inspected this project.
Now, the government has entered into a loan agreement of $52 million with the Asian Infrastructure Facilities Investment Bank in order to promote the development of renewable energy and to strengthen the power transmission network of the country. According to the Ministry of Finance, these funds will be used for the second transmission project of Keravalapitia Port. The notification issued by the Ministry of Finance in this regard, the loan assistance provided by the Asian Infrastructure Facilities Investment Bank will be paid back by the government under the sovereign loan provided by the bank. Under the project implemented with this loan facility, the Keravalapitia power substation will be connected to the Colombo Port L grid substation by a new underground cable system. Several main objectives of this project is to improve the trust in the power supply in this country, reduce the chances of power disconnections, and also to assist in the future economic development. The new agreement has been signed with the participation of the Ministers of Energy and Economic Development in Sri Lanka and the Chairman of the Asian Infrastructure Facilities Investment Bank, Jing Lee Kun.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya participated in a discussion with the representatives of the United Nations Technical Electoral Needs Assessment Mission held yesterday at the parliamentary premises. The discussion focused on assessing the conduct of previous elections in Sri Lanka in terms of transparency and inclusivity, as well as evaluating the institutional, legal and operational frameworks governing elections. It also aimed to understand the capacity and readiness of key electoral institutions, including the Election Commission and the engagement of political stakeholders. The representatives of the UN Technical Electoral Needs Assessment Mission noted Sri Lanka's established electoral mechanisms and reiterated their readiness to assist in addressing challenges to ensure transparency and integrity in the electoral process.
And now for more local news items in brief. The National Pension Day commemoration was held at the Vadamulla Holiday Resort, Kelaniya in the morning today under the theme A Strong, Healthy, Courageous Life. This day has been dedicated to remember the senior citizens who dedicated the energy during their youth for the advancement of the nation. The function was held under the guidance of the Minister of Public Administration, Local Government and Provincial Councils, Dr. Chanda Aberatna. The medical and eye clinic was also held for retired persons during the function, which included a number of aesthetic events. Kolomtata Abhinananda District Literature Arts Festival was held at the District Secretariat Auditorium today with the participation of Parliamentarian Samanmali Gunasinghe and Secretary to the Prime Minister Pradeep Saputantri. The festival has been organised by the Department of Cultural Affairs and the Colombo District Secretariat. 13 artists were felicitated on this occasion. Presentation of certificates and prize distribution to the winners of Sittam Dakma 2025 drawing competition and the literature competition was also conducted on this occasion. A special program was held at the Muses College premises in Colombo today parallel to the occasion to raise awareness regarding breast cancer to be implemented in the month of October. Veteran cricketer Roshan Mahanama, the Chief of Indira Cancer Trust Dr. Lanka Jayasuriya Dissanayake and Principal Sajivani Bandara and a large number of others were present at the occasion. This has been the first occasion where a school has joined in this program. And that was local news. Stay tuned for more world news coming on the other side.
And in news from overseas, at least 24 people have been killed and dozens more injured in a deadly air attack on a Buddhist festival in Myanmar. The strike happened yesterday evening when a Myanmar Army motorized paraglider dropped 2 bombs on a crowd of around 100 people gathered for the Tharing Youth Full Moon Festival. Officials from the country's government in exile say that at least 24 have been dead and 47 were wounded. The gathering had been organized as a peaceful protest against military conscription and to call for the release of political prisoners, including Aung San Suu Kyi.
Now, 2 giant pandas, Jinyang and Fujiang, made their highly anticipated public debut at the Beijing Zoo on Monday as China celebrated the Mid-Autumn Festival.
The male pandas, aged 6 and 3, were both born in Sichuan province, the native home of giant pandas. After a month-long quarantine to ensure their health and safety, they were introduced to crowds of holidaymakers visiting the zoo. Their arrival added extra festive cheer with special mooncakes prepared by zookeepers to mark
Now, China is marking a double celebration this year as the Mid-Autumn Festival coincides with the National Day holiday. People across the country are embracing the festive spirit through events that highlight China's rich cultural heritage.
In historic zoo show, visitors enjoy pageant performances and traditional mooncakes, while sites nationwide hosted folk activities to bring communities together, from lantern rides and folk shows in Beijing and Tianjin to calligraphy and opera performances in ancient towns. Traditional festives took center stage. Tourist destinations introduced new cultural experiences, including traditional craft demonstrations, historical recreations and immersive exhibits that connect modern visitors with ancient heritage. The festival spirit extended to Hong Kong and Macau, with colorful lantern displays and the iconic Fire Dragon dance. And even to space, where astronauts joined in celebrations from the Tiangong station. The joint holiday turned into a nationwide showcase of China's living traditions and festive unity.
And now moving on to news from the sporting arena. The match between Sri Lanka and Turkmenistan in the 3rd round of the tournament for the qualifying of the AFC Asian Cup football tournament will be held tomorrow. At a press briefing held today, Sri Lanka captain Sujan Pereira said that the team is in sound mentality to face the game. The Asian Cup football tournament 2027 will be held in Saudi Arabia. Sri Lanka will contest in D group under the 3rd round of the qualifying tournament. Thailand, Turkmenistan and Chinese Taipei are the other teams in the D group. Head coaches and captains of the Sri Lanka and Turkmenistan teams were also present at the media briefing. Meanwhile, Pavitra Fernando has been elected as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Rugby Association at the election held at the Sports Ministry Auditorium today. Pavitra Fernando received 36 votes while his opponent claimed 18 votes only. Subhas Jayatilaka was elected as secretary and Nyomal Ekanayaka as the treasurer of the association. And with that, we end today's national news telecast. Stay tuned for more news items tomorrow. Until then, have a pleasant day and have a pleasant night. Signing off, I'm Vibhuti Vijabanda alongside Kasuni Balachandadikari. Good night.
Good night.